Today's idiom is, you're spot on about the solution. This phrase means you are absolutely correct or entirely accurate regarding the solution. Originating from target shooting, spot signifies the bullseye, and on means hitting it perfectly. To be spot on means you've precisely hit the mark of truth. Let's see spot on in action. Our team was struggling, but John's analysis was spot on, leading us to a breakthrough. John's analysis was perfectly accurate. For our second example, I thought the movie was overrated, but my friend was spot on about its surprising depth. This shows spot on applies to opinions, confirming their truthfulness.
Similar expressions include, you hit the nail on the head, meaning perfectly accurate, often for identifying a core problem. You've got it right is a general phrase confirming correctness. Spot on emphasizes precision, while hit the nail on the head implies understanding a fundamental point. Got it right is a simpler affirmation. To recap, you're spot on about the solution means you are entirely correct or accurate. It evokes hitting a target perfectly, symbolizing absolute precision. Use this phrase to strongly affirm someone's accuracy or keen insight. Practice these idioms to make your English more vibrant and natural. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, it's getting late, let's hit the road. This phrase means it's time to depart from a place or begin a journey. The core idea is about starting to move, especially when prompted by the lateness of the hour. Its origin, hit the road, stems from the literal act of striking the ground with one's feet or tires when setting out. It became a common, informal way to signal departure in the early 20th century, evoking a sense of getting moving quickly. Let's look at how we can use this lively idiom. For our first example, the concert starts at 7 p.m., so we should probably hit the road by 6. Here, hit the road indicates leaving home to head to the concert. It conveys a sense of needing to depart to meet a schedule. Our second example provides another common scenario. It's been wonderful catching up, but it's getting late. Let's hit the road before traffic gets bad. In this instance, the phrase is used to politely signal the end of a visit or gathering, emphasizing the need to leave due to the time or impending traffic. Both situations clearly show hitting the road as initiating a departure.
While it's getting late, let's hit the road is quite direct. You can also use similar phrases. For instance, let's get going is a very general and friendly way to suggest leaving, applicable in almost any context. Another good option is time to head out, which implies the same urgency or necessity to depart. The primary idiom feels a bit more colloquial and energetic than these alternatives, suggesting a more active start to a journey. Choosing between them often comes down to the specific nuance you want to convey, but all effectively communicate the idea of departure. To recap, it's getting late, let's hit the road is a fantastic and commonly used idiom for signaling that it's time to leave or begin a journey, often because of the hour. Its imagery of literally striking the path adds a subtle energy to the suggestion of departure. Remember this idiom when you're wrapping up a gathering, needing to travel, or simply indicating it's time to set off. Incorporating it into your vocabulary will make your English sound more natural and dynamic. Keep practicing, and you'll be hitting the road with your English fluency. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, I'm so tired, I need to hit the sack. This phrase is a common and informal way to say you are going to bed or need to go to sleep. Its origins can be traced back to a time when beds were not as they are today. In earlier centuries, particularly in rural Europe, many people slept on simple bags or sacks filled with straw or hay. When it was time for bed, you would literally hit or fall onto your sack to sleep. The phrase beautifully captures that rustic imagery, evolving into our modern-day expression for needing rest after a long day. Let's look at how we use this idiom in everyday conversation. For our first example, imagine someone saying, after working 12 hours, I was so exhausted I just wanted to hit the sack. Here, the speaker is expressing extreme tiredness after a long day, indicating a strong desire to go to bed immediately. It conveys a feeling of being completely worn out and needing rest. For our second example, consider, don't wait up for me, I'm going to hit the sack early tonight. This shows a different context where someone is planning to go to sleep earlier than usual, perhaps due to anticipated fatigue or a need for extra rest. Both examples illustrate the informal yet clear communication of one's intention to go to bed, emphasizing a personal need for sleep.
There are a few similar expressions you might encounter. Call it a night is a broader phrase, meaning to stop an activity or evening's work, often implying that you are going home or to bed afterwards. For instance, you might call it a night at a party. Turn in is very similar to hit the sack, also meaning to go to bed, but perhaps slightly less vivid or informal. While hit the sack emphasizes the need for sleep due to tiredness, turn in is a direct synonym for going to bed. You might call it a night from a party, then later hit the sack when you actually get home. To recap, I'm so tired. I need to hit the sack is an expressive and informal way to communicate your strong desire or need to go to sleep. It carries a charming historical echo of simpler times when people literally slept on sacks. Remember this idiom when you've had a particularly long day and feel utterly drained. It's a vivid way to tell someone you're done for the day and heading straight to bed. So next time you're ready for some serious shut-eye, you know exactly what to say. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is hold your horses, we're not ready yet. It means to tell someone to slow down, wait, or be patient, often when rushing. It originated in 19th century America from holding back horses' reins to control speed. This evolved to figuratively urge a pause before acting. Let's see this in action. For example, hold your horses, we haven't even finished planning the trip yet. This asks for patience as preparations are incomplete. Another, before you criticize their proposal, hold your horses and consider their perspective. This advises pausing hasty judgment.
Similar phrases include hold on a minute and not so fast. Hold on a minute is a polite request for a brief pause. Not so fast warns against rushing or making a mistake. Hold your horses is informal and emphatic. All ask someone to wait or reconsider actions. In summary, hold your horses is a vivid idiom meaning to slow down, wait, or be patient. Originating from controlling horses, it's a friendly reminder to avoid rushing. Use it when someone is moving too fast, encouraging them to pause and reflect before acting. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is sometimes ignorance is bliss. This expression suggests that it's often better or more comfortable not to know certain things, especially if those things are troubling or distressing. Knowing them might bring worry or sadness, while remaining unaware allows for a state of peace or happiness. Its origin traces back to the 18th century England, specifically from a famous poem by Thomas Gray, Ode on a Distant Prospect of Eton College, published in 1742. Gray's original line, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise, encapsulates the idea perfectly, reminding us that sometimes what you don't know can hurt you. Let's look at how we can use sometimes ignorance is bliss in everyday conversations. For our first example, my friend didn't know his car had a minor dent, and he was perfectly happy until I pointed it out. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Here, not knowing about the dent kept him content, demonstrating how being unaware can prevent unhappiness. In our second example, she chose not to read the negative reviews about her favorite restaurant because, for her, sometimes ignorance is bliss. The character actively avoids information to preserve her enjoyment. Both scenarios highlight the core idea. Deliberately or inadvertently avoiding certain knowledge can maintain a state of happiness or peace, even if that knowledge is technically true.
Now, let's explore some similar expressions. What you don't know can't hurt you is very close in meaning and often used interchangeably. It emphasizes that being unaware truly prevents harm or distress. Another related phrase is turn a blind eye, which describes an intentional act of ignoring something. This implies a deliberate choice to disregard a problem or wrongdoing, often to avoid confrontation. In contrast, sometimes ignorance is bliss can be either intentional or unintentional, focusing purely on the resulting peace or happiness. Understanding these subtle differences helps us choose the most fitting phrase. In summary, sometimes ignorance is bliss teaches us that not knowing certain facts can bring more happiness than knowing them. This timeless wisdom, rooted in an 18th century poem, highlights how often our peace of mind benefits from what remains unrevealed. Remember, it's not about being foolish, but recognizing when knowledge might cause unnecessary suffering. So, the next time you're faced with a potentially troubling piece of information, you might consider whether, in that moment, sometimes ignorance truly is bliss. Keep practicing this idiom to enrich your English. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is he lives life in the fast lane. This vividly describes someone living an active, exciting, and often high-pressure lifestyle, always chasing success or pleasure intensely. The phrase originates from the concept of multi-lane highways that became common in the mid-20th century. The fast lane is typically the leftmost lane, reserved for vehicles traveling at higher speeds. Figuratively, it speaks to a life lived at a similar accelerated pace, full of activity and ambition. It's an engaging way to talk about someone who embraces a dynamic, often demanding existence. Let's look at how we can use this idiom in everyday conversation. Our first example, my cousin, a tech entrepreneur, travels constantly and works long hours. He really lives life in the fast lane. Here, living life in the fast lane perfectly describes someone with an intense, demanding schedule, always on the go. They are driven, ambitious, and their life feels like it's moving at top speed. Now, consider our second example. After retiring, she decided she didn't want to live life in the fast lane anymore, preferring a quiet country life. This beautifully illustrates the contrast. It shows someone deliberately choosing to step away from that high-pressure, rapid pace, opting for a calmer existence. You can see how adaptable this idiom is for describing both the choice and the reality of a busy, exciting life.
While he lives life in the fast lane effectively conveys a rapid, intense lifestyle, other phrases capture similar sentiments. Consider live a high-octane life. This emphasizes excitement and energy, much like high-performance fuel, without necessarily implying the stress or pressure that can come with the fast lane. Another useful phrase is always on the go. This highlights constant activity and movement, suggesting a very busy schedule. While fast lane implies a choice for speed, on the go describes someone constantly busy. Use fast lane to emphasize both excitement and the often demanding nature of a high-paced existence. To wrap up, he lives life in the fast lane describes someone living an active, exciting, and often high-pressure lifestyle, always pursuing success or pleasure intensely. Its origins come from the concept of the fastest lane on a highway, symbolizing speed and progress. Remember, this idiom isn't just about being busy. It implies a deliberate embrace of a dynamic, often demanding way of life. So, whether you're describing a bustling entrepreneur or someone simply enjoying an adventurous existence, this idiom is perfect for capturing that energetic, rapid pace. Keep practicing, and you'll be using it like a native speaker in no time. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, I said it in the heat of the moment. It means you spoke or acted impulsively, driven by strong, temporary emotions, often leading to regret. The phrase uses heat to denote intense feelings, suggesting actions taken without calm thought or premeditation. Here are two examples. I apologized immediately. I said those harsh words in the heat of the moment. This shows regret for impulsive speech. Don't judge him too harshly. He reacted in the heat of the moment after the loss. Both illustrate how strong, temporary emotions lead to spontaneous, regrettable actions or words done without calm, prior thought.
Similar phrases include spur of the moment and in a fit of pique. Spur of the moment means spontaneous, not necessarily emotional. In a fit of pique describes an angry, slighted reaction. Heat of the moment emphasizes actions from intense, temporary emotions, often regretted, distinguishing it from general impulsiveness or mere annoyance. To recap, I said it in the heat of the moment means acting impulsively from strong, temporary emotions, often with regret. From heat symbolizing intense feelings, it describes unguarded moments. This idiom helps acknowledge impulsive actions. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, don't blame only him, it takes two to tango. It means when two people are involved, especially negatively, both typically share responsibility. The phrase comes from the tango dance, needing two partners. It popularized mid-20th century, figuratively expressing shared accountability. Consider, their argument escalated because neither would listen. It really takes two to tango. This highlights both parties' roles. Also, don't blame only Mark for the project's failure. Remember, it takes two to tango. His partner made errors too. This urges balanced perspective, acknowledging shared responsibility, not just one person's fault.
Similar phrases, you're both to blame directly assigns shared responsibility. There's blame on both sides acknowledges multiple faults. It takes two to tango implies mutual participation. Alternatives are more explicit. Use tango for nuanced, shared involvement in situations. In summary, don't blame only him. It takes two to tango means responsibility is typically shared in two-person interactions. Like the dance, both partners are integral. It encourages a balanced view, reminding us to acknowledge mutual involvement. A great idiom for fair judgment. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, he prefers to swim with the tide instead of fighting. This means he chooses to conform to prevailing opinions or circumstances instead of resisting. The phrase draws imagery from the natural world, specifically nautical observations. It reflects the ease of going along with the flow versus the difficulty of opposing it, a concept understood through ages. Let's see this idiom in action. The new manager prefers to swim with the tide, never challenging the board's decisions, illustrates avoiding confrontation by aligning with existing views. Similarly, in politics, some leaders find it easier to swim with the tide of public opinion, even if they disagree privately. We see leaders opting for popular consensus. Both highlight a tendency to go with the flow.
Two similar expressions are go with the flow and play it safe. Go with the flow implies relaxed acceptance. Play it safe focuses on avoiding risk. Our idiom specifically highlights the preference for conformity over active resistance, often to avoid conflict or difficulty. To recap, he prefers to swim with the tide instead of fighting, describes someone who chooses to conform and avoid conflict, much like a boat moving with the current. It's useful to describe individuals who prioritize harmony or expediency over challenging the status quo. Keep an ear out for it. I'll see you next time with another great expression.
Today's idiom is, she took medicine to keep the flu at bay. This expression means to prevent something unwanted from coming too close or having an effect. Think of it as holding something back, like a persistent problem or a potential illness, to maintain control or safety. The phrase at bay has a fascinating origin from the world of hunting. Historically, it referred to a pursued animal, often a deer or boar, being cornered and turning to face its attackers, specifically the dogs. The animal was at bay when it could no longer flee, but instead stood its ground, preventing the dogs from closing in. So, to keep something at bay means to hold it off, just like those hunting dogs would hold off their quarry. Now let's look at how keep at bay is used in different contexts. Our first example is, the new security system helps keep intruders at bay. Here, intruders are the unwanted element, and the security system acts to prevent them from entering or approaching. It's about active prevention. Our second example is, regular exercise is great for keeping stress at bay. This shows the idiom applied to an abstract concept like stress. Exercise is the method used to prevent stress from building up and affecting your well-being. Both examples highlight how we actively work to prevent negative influences from taking hold, whether it's a physical threat like intruders or an internal one like stress.
Let's explore some similar expressions. To ward off is a very close synonym to keep at bay. For instance, you might ward off a cold with vitamins, much like keeping it at bay. It suggests fending off an attack or danger. Another similar phrase is to hold something off. This also implies preventing something from advancing or having an effect, often suggesting a temporary delay or resistance, like holding off an opponent or holding off a deadline. While ward off often implies preventative action against an impending threat, hold off can imply delaying or resisting an existing one. Keep at bay often carries a stronger sense of maintaining a distance permanently or over a long period. To recap, to keep something at bay means to prevent something undesirable from coming too close or causing problems. Its origin from hunting helps us visualize holding something back. Whether you're using medicine to keep the flu at bay, exercising to keep stress at bay, or implementing security to keep intruders at bay, this idiom is perfect for describing proactive measures against unwelcome elements. So, next time you're preventing a problem, remember you're keeping it at bay. I'll see you next time with another great expression.